Can you give me a prediction for when I'm talking to you this time, 2027? Where will Harry and Meghan be?
Stripped of their titles.
Prince William plans on stripping both Harry and Meghan of their HRH titles once he becomes king.
Meghan Markle is threatening to sue the British royal family and Prince William if her titles are removed.
The king right now, his best bet would be to distance himself completely, make it clear to Harry that the Sussexes are not welcome at all in Britain for a very, very long.
There's been big changes to the royal family's official website with the removal of one of Prince Harry's title. Now, most of the royal family members have their own biography page on the royal family's official website, and this describes who exactly the royal is and what their official duties are. Now, as you can imagine, there's lots and lots of content to get through, but Prince Harry's biography still had him listed as His Royal Highness. Now, Harry actually was stripped of that honour when he and Meghan stepped back as senior working royals in 2020.
Harry could be coming back to be a working member.
That's just conspiratorial crap.
Most conversations about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle focus on titles, royal duties, or public appearances. But there is one part of the story that rarely gets explained properly, and it could completely change how people view the debate surrounding their future in the royal family. Many headlines suggest that a future monarch could simply remove Harry's titles with the stroke of a pen, making it sound like everything could disappear overnight. It is an idea that keeps resurfacing across social media and royal commentary. But the reality is far more complicated than those headlines usually admit. A recent royal decision involving Prince Andrew gave people a real example of just how much authority the monarch can exercise. After changes were made to Andrew's royal status, many commentators immediately shifted their attention to Harry, arguing that the same approach could eventually be used against him. That comparison quickly sparked another round of speculation about what could happen if Prince William one day becomes king.
They're basically manipulating their position for their own personal gain. I think this is a very serious moment for the monarchy, actually. I think, far more than Andrew or anything else, these are the people that are likely to really damage it.
Virginia Giuffre book, Prince Andrew believed it was his birthright to have sex with me. It's a horrible, horrible quote. It shows just how entitled this man really was to these things.
But before jumping to conclusions, it is worth separating what can reportedly be changed by the monarch from what falls outside that authority. Those are two very different questions, yet they are often treated as if they are exactly the same. The events involving Prince Andrew demonstrated that certain royal styles and privileges can indeed be altered through formal royal powers.
Residents in Sandringham in Norfolk aren't happy. That's where Andrew will be moving, of course. They said yesterday, we don't want him here either. He is a horrible man. It is hard to know where you put Andrew.
Skis has a long history with the royal family. Piers Morgan has met Andrew, knows his ex-wife Fergie, and their daughter as well. He joins us now on the phone. Hey, Piers, did you ever think it would come to this?
I was beginning to fear it might, but when it actually happens, it is an absolute bombshell. To put this into context, there has been no member of the royal family arrested in my lifetime. I'm 60 years old.
According to reports, those changes significantly reshaped his public role and how he is officially presented. For many royal observers, it was a reminder that the monarchy still possesses constitutional tools that can produce immediate and highly visible results. That moment also challenged a belief that had existed for years. Many people had assumed certain royal changes were practically impossible to carry out. After Andrew's situation unfolded, however, commentators began asking whether similar action might eventually extend to Prince Harry. From that point forward, predictions became increasingly common. Some commentators suggested it was only a matter of time before Harry faced the same outcome, while others argued there was no indication that such a move was being planned.
It's now a matter of when, not if, he strips Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their royal title.
I did think it would happen. If Harry and Meghan are watching, they should be incredibly concerned, because if it's this simple to take away Prince Andrew's titles, one day it could be this easy to take away Harry and Meghan's title.
As with many royal discussions, firm opinions quickly formed despite very little official confirmation. However, there is one important detail that often gets overlooked. Even after Andrew's royal status changed, one major constitutional fact remained untouched. His position in the line of succession did not automatically disappear. That single detail illustrates an important distinction that is frequently missing from online discussions. This is where the conversation becomes much more interesting. Changing royal titles and changing someone's place in the line of succession are not necessarily the same process. Royal commentators have long pointed out that they are governed by different constitutional rules, meaning one decision does not automatically trigger the other. In other words, even if a monarch has authority over certain royal titles and styles, that authority does not necessarily extend to every constitutional position connected to the royal family. That distinction explains why so many legal experts and constitutional historians continue to treat these issues separately.
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. These two are grifters who are all about the money, who had the biggest opportunity in the world to turn around other people's lives, and they do not give a damn.
No, I think he is heartbroken about the way that things have gone with his second son. I think now, because of all the drama and chaos that they've been causing, Meghan and Harry have been causing Charles, especially while he was battling with cancer, I think this is sort of end game now. You know, when you see in his speeches, even just recently, he only ever references William and Catherine.
Naturally, that raises another question. If the monarch possesses the authority to make some significant royal changes, why has no similar action reportedly been taken regarding Prince Harry despite years of public debate? Many explanations have been suggested. Some commentators believe it reflects King Charles's cautious approach to constitutional matters. Others argue the legal situation is simply much more complex than social media discussions make it appear. Without official confirmation, those explanations remain opinions rather than established facts. What does appear clear, however, is that the issue extends far beyond a simple royal signature. While certain royal privileges may be changed through the monarch's authority, other constitutional matters involve legal processes that reach well beyond Buckingham Palace itself. That difference is at the heart of why this debate has continued for so long, and why predictions about Harry's future remain far less straightforward than many headlines suggest.
We knew this day was coming. We knew that he was going to want to leave and to have his life back. We knew that that freedom flight was nothing but a fraud of a flight that he was taking. And so now, Harry has confirmed that, hey, I want to go back.
They are a danger. Honestly, take this lesson from what Fergie and Andrew have done over the past 3 decades and do not let history repeat.
Is there any world in which Harry and Meghan walk back into England and the royal family and take up duties, in your mind?
Disneyland, perhaps. No, I don't think there is. I think it's gone too far. I think Charles is keen to have a rapprochement with Harry before he dies, and I think Harry is keen on that too. But I think the relationship between William and Harry is just...
The biggest misunderstanding in this entire debate is the assumption that every royal title, privilege, and constitutional position can be changed the same way. In reality, they fall under completely different legal systems, and that distinction is what makes this discussion so much more complicated than many headlines suggest. One of the most important facts is that the line of succession is not simply controlled by the monarch, it exists within British constitutional law, meaning it cannot reportedly be rewritten through a personal decision made inside Buckingham Palace. Even if a king wanted to make changes, there are legal procedures that go far beyond a royal signature. According to constitutional experts, changing the order of succession would require Parliament to pass new legislation. But that is only the beginning of the process, because the British monarch also serves as head of state for several Commonwealth realms. Any major alteration to the rules surrounding succession has historically required cooperation well beyond the United Kingdom itself. Countries such as Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Jamaica, and several others would all become part of that conversation through their own constitutional processes. That is why legal experts often describe this as an enormous political undertaking, rather than a simple royal decision.
My sources are saying that William no longer recognizes his brother. He basically says he doesn't know who this kid is. Harry has become petulant, he's become vengeful, he's very angry at all times, and William's just kind of like, hey, who the heck are you? And yes, they do blame Meg.
Charles needs to wake up, because what he's also doing, of course, is damning William to having his younger brother running a rival royal court in the United Kingdom. Because what else does he have to do, Lauren? That's the other issue here. Harry has nothing going for him in America. He has no work over there. He has no meaningful charity over there. His marriage is completely miserable. He is totally miserable. So unfortunately, this security decision means we will be seeing a hell of a lot of Harry in the United Kingdom. That is bad news for Prince William, who is trying to protect the monarchy.
History provides a useful example of just how complicated that process can become. When the succession rules were modernised so that the eldest child could inherit regardless of gender, the changes were not completed overnight. Governments coordinated for years, agreements were reached between multiple nations, and separate legislation had to work its way through different parliaments before the reforms were fully implemented. That was a change supported by broad political agreement. A proposal involving a specific individual could prove even more challenging. The last major historical example, often mentioned by constitutional historians, dates back to the abdication crisis involving Edward VIII. His departure from the throne required formal legislation, making it one of the clearest reminders that succession is ultimately governed by law, rather than personal preference.
Now, Prince Harry is reportedly very sad that Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet are missing out on life with the rest of their family, and that the extensive family network that their cousins are enjoying, well, his children aren't. I don't know what this spoilt brat expects. What did he expect when he uprooted his family and went to live in Montecito, and constantly slams the royal family? I don't think he realises how daft he really is. And I mean, he is very daft. If you've read Spare, the guy is like low IQ. Like, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
That historical context is why many legal commentators remain cautious whenever predictions appear, claiming someone will soon be removed from the line of succession. Regardless of public opinion, the constitutional process itself remains extremely demanding. The same legal questions have even surfaced in discussions surrounding Prince Andrew. Although reports have suggested politicians have considered different possibilities, constitutional experts have repeatedly pointed out that changing the succession would involve far more than a decision made by the monarch alone. When those legal realities are considered, predictions about Prince Harry being removed from the succession become far less straightforward than many online discussions suggest. It also helps to separate the different issues people often group together. The first category involves royal styles, including the title of Prince and the use of His Royal Highness.
Because why have the police spent 15 years choosing not to investigate Andrew? Because they probably knew. What did Charles know? What files are included at Buckingham Palace? We're literally in unprecedented territory, man. This scandal has been hiding in plain sight for 15 years. I was working at Murdoch's former newspaper, The News of the World, in a senior position in 2011. We revealed those pictures. Do you remember, of Epstein and Andrew in Central Park in New York?
And Andrew went to see him and stayed with him, right? At his New York
with royal protection
townhouse.
officers. Do you see what I mean? This is where
After
the
the
deep
fact,
state
yeah.
is pulled into this.
Constitutional experts generally agree these are areas where the monarch has considerably greater authority through long-standing royal powers. That is one reason commentators frequently point to Prince Andrew's situation as an example of what could theoretically happen. The second category is much more difficult. Harry's title as Duke of Sussex is not viewed in quite the same way. Unlike a royal style, a dukedom is a peerage created under British law. Because of that distinction, many constitutional specialists argue that removing such a title would require Parliament to pass legislation, rather than relying solely on royal authority. Current government statements have indicated there are no announced plans to introduce legislation specifically aimed at changing those long-standing rules. As a result, many legal observers believe this remains a far more complex issue than social media discussions often acknowledge. There is another detail that is frequently overlooked. Meghan Markle does not hold the title Duchess of Sussex independently. She uses that title through her marriage to Prince Harry. Because of that legal relationship, any discussion about her title is directly connected to the legal status of Harry's peerage, rather than being treated as a completely separate matter. Finally comes the issue that many people consider the biggest question of all: the line of succession itself.
Terrible news for Harry and Meghan here is that William can now take away everything, their titles, without an act of Parliament. And as we revealed earlier in the week, he has now hired one of the country's most experienced crisis management PRs to work within his team at Kensington Palace day to day, because it shows you what he's expecting. He is expecting Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to set up a rival royal court, and thank God actually that he is preparing to fight fire with fire, because he knows knows that the future of the British royal family is at stake. And that's why I'm so disgusted, and I'm going to be honest with Charles and with the British government, because they should have just rejected Harry's security demands. They are ludicrous demands. He was always warned of the consequences.
Harry needs to leave. The longer he stays, the worse it's going to get. They're not going to get to where they want to be, and it's just disaster for them. And also, I believe children in between all of this, they're the ones who are going to pay the bigger price for all of this later in life.
Prince Harry and his children continue to occupy positions. Established under constitutional law, and according to legal experts, changing those positions would involve an entirely different legal process from changing royal styles or titles. That distinction is exactly why so many constitutional specialists continue to caution against treating all three issues as if they can be resolved in the same way. Once those legal distinctions are understood, the picture starts looking very different from the dramatic predictions that often circulate online. Even if a future monarch decided to remove certain royal styles, that alone would not automatically change Prince Harry's place in the line of succession. The same principle would also apply to his children. Constitutional experts have repeatedly explained that these are separate legal matters governed by different rules. That single fact changes the entire conversation. For years, countless headlines have predicted that Harry and Meghan would soon lose everything connected to the royal family. New timelines appear regularly, with confident claims about when major announcements are supposedly just around the corner.
Numerous massive crises of confidence for Harry, because he realizes, holy shit, this is what I'm facing. I believe that Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet need to be stripped and removed from the line of succession. One bill, and it would deal with Meghan and Harry, but also critically, Pete Diner, it would deal with Archie and Lily too.
Yet those predictions often overlook an important distinction between symbolic royal changes and constitutional ones. The reality, according to many legal commentators, is much narrower than those dramatic claims suggest. If changes were ever made to Harry's royal styles, they would primarily affect official titles and how he is formally addressed. Those changes could carry symbolic significance and certainly generate worldwide headlines. However, constitutional experts argue that they would not automatically erase his legal position within the succession itself. That is why some observers believe expectations have gradually become disconnected from what constitutional law actually allows. Many online discussions create the impression that one decision could completely remove Harry from every remaining connection to the monarchy. In practice, legal specialists often describe the situation very differently. Rather than wiping everything away at once, any future changes would likely affect only specific parts of his royal status, while leaving other constitutional arrangements untouched.
Give us back the Duchess of Sussex title. She wants to have the associations of the royal family, and she wants to profit off that, with her brand and all of her marketing things that have Duchess of Sussex, but she doesn't want to do the work, and this is the issue.
Truth is, they need photos in Buckingham Palace or with royal members of the family, or as you said, feeding kids or whatever, because that's all they've got left to tout. Because the United States has had enough, the United Kingdom has had enough, Australia's had enough, everybody's had enough.
So many people, they want all the privileges, they want all of the honors, they want all the plaudits, but they don't want to do anything.
If that scenario ever unfolds, the public reaction could be very different from what many people currently expect. Instead of a dramatic constitutional transformation, the announcement might simply consist of an official palace statement, updates to royal records, and changes to how certain names or titles appear in formal documents. Those adjustments would undoubtedly attract enormous media attention, but they would not necessarily produce the sweeping constitutional consequences that some predictions describe. That possibility helps explain why similar forecasts have repeatedly failed to materialize over the past several years. Another question naturally follows from all of this. If the monarch reportedly possesses the authority to make certain changes involving royal styles, why has nothing similar happened in Prince Harry's case, despite years of public disagreements? There is no universally accepted answer. Some commentators believe King Charles has deliberately chosen restraint because Harry remains his son, regardless of the public tensions that have surrounded the royal family. Others argue the king has consistently preferred avoiding decisions that could create even greater constitutional controversy during his reign. There is another theory that has also gained attention among royal observers. Some believe Charles may simply prefer leaving the most difficult family decisions to the next generation, rather than reopening already sensitive divisions. While there is no official confirmation supporting that interpretation, it has become a recurring topic among commentators discussing the future of the monarchy.
He constantly is living this life of demanding extra because he's Prince Harry. Bro, when you left the royal family, you became some random dude. Let's keep it honest. Who was Prince Harry?
I think the palace and the machinery of the monarchy needs to take Harry and Meghan more seriously and make sure that Harry and Meghan's antics don't impact the future of the crown.
King Charles refuses to end Prince Harry's dream of a half-in, half-out return to royal life.
Supporters of that theory often point to previous royal history. The situation involving Prince Andrew developed over many years before major changes were eventually introduced. As a result, some observers believe difficult royal issues are sometimes managed gradually rather than through immediate, sweeping action. If that pattern continues, many commentators expect that future decisions involving Prince Harry would most likely become questions for the reign of Prince William instead of King Charles. Reports over the years have frequently suggested that William and Harry's relationship remains deeply strained. Various royal authors and newspaper reports have described the brothers as being far apart, although the exact nature of their private relationship remains known only to those directly involved.
Let's not forget the Oprah performance.
Oh yeah. What? They did what? These people?
How dark your baby was going to be?
It was ridiculous.
At King Charles's meeting with Prince Harry, ultimately, and I understand a man living with cancer, grandchildren, I get it, but I think ultimately it makes him look weak, and a lot of people are disappointed that Meghan gets to do a victory.
Even so, constitutional realities would continue to apply regardless of who occupies the throne. That is the point often missing from discussions predicting dramatic changes. A future king may possess the authority to alter certain royal styles and public roles, but other constitutional matters remain governed by legislation that extends well beyond Buckingham Palace. In the end, this debate is not simply about personalities or family disagreements. It is about the limits placed on royal authority by constitutional law. And according to many legal experts, those limits are exactly why predictions about completely removing Harry and his children from the monarchy have proven far more complicated than many headlines have suggested. When everything is put together, one conclusion becomes difficult to ignore. Even if a future King William chose to remove certain royal styles or titles, that would not automatically erase Prince Harry's constitutional position within the monarchy. According to many legal experts, those are simply two separate issues that follow very different legal paths. That distinction is exactly why this debate continues to generate so much attention. There is certainly precedent showing that some royal styles can be changed. Prince Andrew's case demonstrated that those powers exist and can be exercised when circumstances call for them.
Whatever they do, whatever they say, whatever they promise, whatever they let us down on, they will never be held in the same esteem, not within an inch of the same esteem as Kate and William. She is, anybody and everybody will tell you, the most demanding, narcissistic pain in the arse that there probably has ever been in royal service.
That's the strength we're looking for in a future monarch. You know, standing by your principles, standing by your wife and your and protecting your family's peace, which is ultimately what he's doing and keeping a distance between him and Prince Harry.
Because of that, many royal commentators believe similar discussions surrounding Prince Harry are likely to continue in the years ahead. However, removing a royal style is very different from rewriting constitutional law. If future changes ever happen, they may prove to be far more symbolic than many people currently expect. Official titles could change, palace records could be updated, and public references might look different. But the constitutional framework itself is a much larger challenge that cannot simply be rewritten overnight. That is why predictions promising a complete removal from every aspect of royal life often leave out some very important legal details. Many commentators believe that if any major decision does come, it is more likely to happen during Prince William's reign than under King Charles. That remains speculation rather than confirmed fact, but it has become one of the most widely discussed theories among royal observers. Even then, constitutional experts continue to emphasize that expectations should remain realistic. Some changes may be achievable through royal authority, while others would require Parliament and far broader constitutional agreement. In other words, this is less about wiping someone out of royal history and more about redefining certain aspects of their official status.
this guy's a threat to himself, because I mean
Yes.
the entire saga of Prince Harry is quite depressing, really, because I remember when he was a bit of the nation's lad, he was happy, he was a bit happy-go-lucky and all that, and then he met that woman and it all went downhill. Yeah, it's sad, really.
The only reason he wants to come here, and everyone needs to realize this, is because his career has collapsed in the United States of America. Meghan Markle's dream of becoming a Hollywood billionaire in America has collapsed. It's over. The staff are leaving. The rats are abandoning this sinking ship.
Another interesting detail has also attracted attention over recent years. During interviews and public appearances, Prince Harry has continued referring to his royal background in different ways, reminding many observers that royal identity extends beyond formal paperwork alone. Whether someone supports him or criticises him, it is difficult to deny that his connection to the royal family continues to generate enormous public interest around the world. That is another reason why this debate is unlikely to disappear anytime soon. For now, much of what people discuss remains speculation. Until official announcements are made, no one can say with certainty what future monarchs or governments may decide. What can be said is that constitutional law places clear limits on what can be changed quickly and what would require a much longer political process. So perhaps the biggest takeaway is this: the future of Prince Harry's royal status is almost certainly more complicated than the simple countdowns and dramatic headlines that regularly appear online.
His performance on that podcast, talking about his grooming, was really, you might forgive him.
Or people shitting themselves on a highway. It's the worst thing I've ever seen, Jobbo. I'm not exaggerating.
41, man, if you want to be taken seriously, start being a bit serious. He was supposed to be on that, whoever allowed him to go on there. I mean, I'm sure it's something he wants to do, but this laddish banter nonsense, and talking about your grooming and whether you're ginger or not, frankly, who cares if you're ginger or not? Nobody, Harry, no.
Now it's your turn to weigh in. If changes to Harry's royal status ever do happen, do you think removing certain royal styles would be enough? Or do you believe Parliament should go even further and consider broader constitutional changes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I always enjoy reading the different opinions and perspectives. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more in-depth coverage of the biggest celebrity and royal stories making headlines. And make sure you watch the next video that's about to appear on your screen, where we explore another major royal controversy and the latest celebrity drama you won't want to miss. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.